What's up, fuckers?
Howdy.
I want that to be the intro.
Okay.
Yeah, just zoom in. Sup, fuckers?
Sup, fuckers? All right, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Redneck Review. Today we have a very special guest. This bald-headed fuck is my brother. His name is Austin. He has a Twitch account, Twitch channel, excuse me. And why don't you just go ahead and take it away?
I
Tell us about your Twitch.
There's nothing particularly special about it. I have a lot of different hobbies, and when I became a stay-at-home father earlier this year, I told my wife that I wanted to pick up Twitch streaming, and she asked me why, and I said, well, I do all of this stuff anyway, so I might as well just share it. So it's, I play a lot of games, I do a lot of drawing, I design some merchandise. It's mostly just like a place to hang out. I stream Tuesday through Saturday, and on Saturdays it's dedicated to whatever chat wants to do, so we do a lot of party games. If you guys are into things like Jackbox, stuff like that, come by, have fun, it's a good time. That's a name enough, like shamelessly self-plugging.
There you go. Yeah. So it is the Almighty Thorgi on Twitch. The Almighty Thorgi, all one word.
And I show off my corgis.
Yeah, he shows off his corgis.
They're real fat.
And you'll link them in the description.
Yeah, we'll throw a link in the description if you guys want to check it out.
And the diddly-do underneath.
Yeah, and the diddly-do, I'm gonna drop a link on these boys. They don't fucking
Where are we
know.
dropping, boys?
Where are we dropping? We're dropping on
Epic
Twitch.
Fortnite references. Because we're gamers.
Yeah, here, Quint. Here's
Long 5,000. Holy shit!
Here's a clip I created for Austin.
What the fuck is that?
I got him. I got him good.
I'm not
What
gonna be
is
able
this?
Playing Apex, it looks like.
Yeah,
to.
you
I'm gonna
play.
be able to unsee
No,
or
I know.
unhear that.
What did you do?
Apex?
Gonna be a vault key in here.
Hold on.
Is guap guap how you say guap guap?
I fucking hate you. Oh my god. He typed in. He said he typed in like guap guap something, and I was like, "Is this supposed to be how you spell?" And like the BJ sound.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, and like as soon as I said it, I was like,
oh
"You son of a bitch!"
fuck.
Like,
Yeah, I
he's
was-
just fucking lurking, waiting for a chance to make
yeah,
a
I
fuss
was-
out of it.
Yeah, I
Boys, if this fucking reeks too much, I had to take off my fucking insulated boots, dude. I was fucking dying.
That's fine. You didn't wear shoes for the last.
I was
podcast.
afraid that he was gonna like, dude, I just shit myself, and I was
Yeah,
like,
like
oh,
straight
no.
up just defecated.
I jumped my whole ass.
Like it wasn't a shart, it was straight up just fecal. It was a fecal fiasco.
Oh,
Have
boy.
you shit yourself before?
Oh, dude, totally. I shit myself once a year.
What? Wait, like, do you like?
Why is this so common? I have a friend that like it's just open. He's like, yeah, I pooped my pants today, and I was like, why is
happens,
that?
dude.
Why? One, you're an adult. Two, why do you share it? Wouldn't that be something that's kind of embarrassing?
No, because I think that
I'm 31 years old. I've never shit my pants.
I shit. I mean,
you
I
did
shit.
when your adult life, you haven't shit your pants.
Yeah, in my adult life, I've not like post probably 10 years old. I've not shit my pants.
Well, the problem is my diet's so shitty, and so I'll get extreme diarrhea, and I think I have a fart, straight up shit my pants. It happens at least. I'll get sick.
Well, you say once a year. Is it like a scheduled thing?
No,
Where you're like,
it
you
just
know what?
happens.
Well,
like-
it's September.
Yeah. Man, I haven't shit in like it's been 365 days. All right, when am I
Happy
gonna?
anniversary.
It's more of like not really like a shit. It's more just a shart.
A shart, yeah. So I've never shit my pants before, except for like 3 weeks ago, a month ago, when I got food poisoning.
Oh, dude.
It was
Sure.
fucking horrific.
That's not really something that you have control over.
Well,
Yeah,
so-
you might as well just throw those bitches away, go in the shower.
No, hold on. It's terrible. It was multiple times. So I've shit my pants like 4 times in my life, and they're all like within 24 hours.
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude.
man.
Like I had some Hy-Vee Chinese. Do not recommend Hy-Vee Chinese.
I
Do
just
not
ate
fucking
like
do
3
it.
plates of that shit a week ago.
I've always been fine with
that why you
Dylan's
shit your
Chinese,
pants
but that was
recently?
the first and only time I've ever gotten.
It was even when I ate that Hy-Vee Chinese. It was at the end of the night when they were getting ready to throw it away.
no.
She gave me like 5
Just everything
five
you
of those
wanted.
bucks, like $3.
Hell yeah! No, like what
boy.
fucked me up was the lo mein. When I
Oh
ate
really?
it,
It tasted funky.
it tasted weird, and it was like kind of like a weird
Like
texture.
rubbery?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I ate it, and then I woke up, and like I just had it, like I was bloating all night, like
and then
like
you were sweating.
like a
that
hard
that
blood.
bubble gut, and then you got that mud butt.
Yeah, and so I fucking I woke
He's
up.
gonna save that one.
I woke up and I threw up, and I throw up violently every
yeah.
time, and like it's loud. And like Haley, like she had just been sick, and I like took care of her and stuff. And then
she didn't take care of you.
no, fuck no. She got up. She got up and she was like, "I'm gonna go sleep in the guest bedroom." I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "You're so loud." I'm like, oh
I'm
my
dying.
God. Yeah.
Babe,
And
I
so-
don't feel good.
I'm like shitting and
dude.
throwing up, and then I go in there. I'm like, babe, we need to go to the gas station like right now. I need to get like Pepto, like a Gatorade, water, all this stuff. She's like, can you not go? I'm like, I am deathly ill, and you just said, can you not drive yourself to the gas station? I was like, fuck it, I got it. Don't worry about it.
He popped into my stream to say like, oh man, I've had food poisoning. I was like, that's really rough, dude. And he goes, you know, the shittiest thing about this is I just got done taking care of Haley, and then I got sick, and I was like, oh, thank God, like at least she can take care of me. And she was like, nope, fuck you, I've got my own stuff to do. So he's like in my stream just venting like, I can't believe this shit, I'm dying.
My girlfriend's a bitch.
Yeah. But I like that first night. I could not lay in a certain position without waking up and having to go throw up.
Yeah.
So I just like once she was in the other bedroom, I like went between the bedroom, the couch, my recliner, like whatever. And like I just like had shit and thrown up so much that night like I was just like in bed naked, and I woke up in the morning and just shit on the bed.
Have you,
Oh, shit, the bed.
Yeah, and
have,
so
you,
like
have
I-
you seen that meme that's like a dude laying in bed and this girl looking grossed out, and the
There's
caption,
just him blasting
well,
shit
yeah, it's
all
blasting
over.
shit all over the bed, and she's like, oh, and he's just like sleeping soundly, and it says, if she won't leave in the morning, I'll give her a reason to leave.
Yeah.
No,
There you go.
so if we're talking
my
about food
God.
poisoning stories, by the way, Dare's by the dam. Fuck you. 2 years ago, you gave me food poisoning so horrendously bad, I thought I was gonna
I
die.
feel like this channel's just turned this podcast is a way to call out local businesses.
Oh, it
100%.
is. No, we used to do that before.
Yeah,
vendetta against.
if you guys don't know, back in the like our OG followers would know, but back in the day, like whenever we were Redneck News, not Redneck News Entertainment, we had a podcast where we called it the Redneck Newscast, and we would go cover bizarre news stories, and then we do a Blues My Balls segment.
Yeah.
Blues My Balls,
Blues
like
My
blue
balls.
balls?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when we were starting
like
to
instead
get
of like
the
grind my
merch.
gears, it'd be like Blues My Balls.
Okay.
So it turned into fuck Applebee's, fuck.
Applebee's because of the meme.
Yeah.
And then it was Academy Sports because they wouldn't make our hats or some shit.
Oh no, it was End Zone Sports because they fucking or not. Yeah, End Zone Sports in
Because
here in
they
Manhattan.
tried to get us blacklisted.
Yeah,
Why?
I took the hats to them because I bought them through a wholesaler, and
I think I
part of-
remember you telling me.
Part of the agreement is that you like basically certified that you were going to be the one
Printing.
that like you weren't just going to take the shirt and then resell them without altering them. So I took the hats to them because I was going to like do a stamp or like fucking like a DTG basically on the hat. But they didn't work out at all. Like the printer that I was going to use was not the right machine I needed to use. So I took it to them and I explained it to them. And well, they use the same wholesaler.
And so, they
And
got
so she was
shit.
asking me like, well, aren't you supposed to blah, 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 blah. And then I go to order something the next week. And that bitch had fucking called and ratted on me that I was whatever, just trying to push me out because I told them I was doing like my own t-shirts and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Just trying to like
chance to
swell
crush the
competition. I was like, fuck this. So
that's
if
real
you guys
shitty.
ever have any needs for like graphic designs or whatever, do not go to End Zone Sports. I don't care who sees this. Fuck you. That's a dirty ass fucking move.
Yeah.
I was making shirts out of my fucking garage.
Speaking of fucking Darius.
Just shit his pants again.
Dude, I've had appendicitis. I've broken my kneecap.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, the only time I thought I was ever gonna fucking die was having that food poisoning that bad. I couldn't move off the couch for 6 fucking hours.
Jesus.
I'm like, my
got-
sister had
sorry,
to
that
bring.
smells real bad.
can't
My
smell it.
sister had to bring me like fucking water and shit. I couldn't move.
I laid down in the shower that night for like fucking 30 minutes
Oh, you
because
just-
I was getting chills
Do
and
you
then
know
warm
how
water.
that's how Andre the Giant used to take a shit in the hotels?
What, he just
What,
sit
in
in the
his
shower and
bathtub?
take shit?
Shit in the shower.
I thought that was a fucking meme. The whole
No,
like
he
shit in the shower and
seriously
stomp
did.
it down.
No, he didn't stop it. He didn't stop it. He didn't
Shit in
stop
the
it.
shower.
Dude, he didn't stop it. He just turned on the faucet.
That's fucking
Yeah.
wild, dude. Why?
Well, I mean, you know how big that man was.
yeah, but still, come on, man.
Literally, his
well-
fucking fist was the size of that.
Well, yeah, like Joey Diaz, whenever he was like super huge, like you've probably heard him talk about this on Joe Rogan's podcast a bunch, but he was so big that his ass was so big that when he'd shit on the front of the toilet,
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
and then he like couldn't be able to wipe his ass or whatever.
See, there's a point of
So you
being
have to-
so jacked you can't even move. You know what I mean?
I was doing strongman training. I haven't been to the gym since the quarantine started, but like I've regained a lot of mobility as like my muscles started to atrophy.
Yeah.
I was upset to lose those gains, but at the
Where'd
same
they
time,
go?
huh? You just get fat, man.
No, I mean just saying
You lost them?
You got atrophy. Where'd they go?
What the fuck is he
Where are they at?
Where they
My,
at, though?
my body ate them. they turned.
Making a shitty
They
joke.
turned. They turned it, yeah, it's like the refrigerator running. I got the joke, but at the same time,
Yeah,
like,
just fuck you. Your joke sucks.
basically just like.
He's gonna make you explain your joke, so you just give
So I
up.
know I'm like a fucking retard.
Dude, that's what.
It's
That's
just
what
gonna
I,
be one of those things where he tells me a bad joke, and if I could make my ears or my nose bleed on command, that would be a perfect. He just says something dumb, I'm like,
It's like that. What was that fucking? There was a movie from the '80s called Scanners. You know that old GIF of that dude's head exploding that everybody's seen?
It's it is a fucking GIF.
no, it's a GIF. Don't.
The guy that created.
Okay, who cares? Okay, I don't
nobody
care.
fucking
Cody.
cares.
I'm gonna say it
Okay,
how I want to.
I want you. I saw a joke about this where they said like, I can't wait for you to be standing at the pearly gates and say like, "What's up, Jod?" and then you be kicked out of fucking heaven.
No, Compton
What up,
fucking
Joe?
He
tagged me
kicked
that
out for
meme.
another reason.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe in him.
Exactly. But I still don't believe in you. This is all.
Yeah, this is all
just
fake.
This is the
Another-
chemicals in my brain telling me something.
Am I high right now?
Is that Joe Rogan over there? Fuck yeah, dude. We're on a DMT trip right now.
What's up, Joe?
Charles, your podcast. Let me in your fucker.
This shit slaps.
He's over there just fucking playing with monkeys and chimpanzees.
Yeah, he's doing
God, dude.
DMT with Jesus.
Yeah.
Have you heard that there's a comedian that talks about if he was there's a reason he could never be rich because he would buy a chimpanzee and fill a swimming pool full of cocaine, and then he would pistol whip the chimpanzee and then throw cocaine into its face. Like he's got like a 10-minute bit on it. It's just fucking
I
insane.
want to fucking party with that.
He's like, you could never let me. I could never win the lottery. I could never make great success because I would make so many bad life decisions.
Did you hear like I think when chimpanzees reach a certain age, they just like go like full fucking frontal lobe like delete mod, and they just revert back to going fucking primal.
Is that real?
Yeah,
That
I'm not
doesn't
serious,
sound-
like-
Well, I mean, they're
doesn't sound real.
primates, so.
Well, no, but I'm talking like there's a lady
They're
got her
awesome.
fucking face ripped off and shit. Like it's fucking nuts, dude.
They're
'cause
wild animals. Like, I don't understand why people don't understand
The
that.
pygmy marmosets though are fucking cool.
The what?
Hey Jamie, look up a pygmy marmoset. He's Jamie.
Jamie.
Pygmy. Yeah, it's a
Pygmy
Pygmy.
marmoset.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Pygmy
Google
marmoset.
images.
What the
that's cute.
fuck? It's like
It's a little monkey that you can
It's a little
keep.
tiny monkey.
I want one.
It's like the size of a gerbil.
Yeah.
that's
But
really
no,
cute.
they're bigger. They're like the size of like a guinea
Cat-
pig.
They look like well, I was gonna say maybe a cat, but yeah,
Yeah.
that one's really small.
They're really cool. I want one. See, look,
Yeah.
there was a guy who used to drive a
Toothbrush.
semi that had one. That I
Well,
worked on.
if you guys are just listening, I highly recommend looking up Pygmy Marmoset. It's
'Cause they're fucking adorable.
It's PYGMYMOSET.
They look fully grown to be about the size of a human hand.
It looks like someone shoved it up their ass and it's just covered in shit.
Why do you
Why?
guys?
Yeah, why? You're just like, this is so
You
cute.
could have literally just
look,
just went with
no,
on
It's
saying
no,
so
because-
cute. It looks like stool.
No, because this
he's getting brushed with a toothbrush.
does
because
not
he's
look
covered
like-
in shit.
No.
Because he's covered in shit.
That's
Okay.
Yeah, that's it, Cody.
That's
This-
what my mind went to.
Next
It's a-
topic.
this
Don't
is-
ruin this fucking one thing for me.
This is a sort of like a pseudo segue into what I wanted to talk about when we were talking about you getting stuff printed. I looked at your hat, and I had this conversation with with one of my buddies the other day. What is the deal with camo as a fashion statement? Why do people gravitate?
Tactical, brother.
Yeah, why do people gravitate towards
Molten
that?
Labe.
I don't fucking
So,
understand it.
it's more-
like the shit where you climb into a truck and the interior's all fucking camo. Like, who the fuck are
the
you hiding
gunmetal,
from?
the gunmetal grayer, the fucking.
So it's
Like,
so
dude,
it's
you're driving
more,
this loud ass dually truck. You're not sneaking from anyone.
because it's more of the it's identity more than anything. Because like camo shit is associated with
we're
being
fucking cool.
like country or fucking
all right,
redneck or like some hard ass. So it's not the fact that they like the camo. It's more of like a
They're cool.
it's more of like a status.
It's a
thing.
tribe.
It's like-
and I
it's-
get that, but at the same time, like, you can be a hard ass without. I've never looked at somebody like rolling up in all camo aside from like military fatigues and being like, what a badass. Like if they're clearly coming back from a hunting trip or they're coming home from work or something like that and they're into fatigues, I'm like, cool. But it's like those jackasses in high school that just used to like wear a camo T-shirt to class. I'm like, nobody thinks you're hard, man.
The
You know
ones
what's,
I
you know what's
think,
funny?
the ones
I almost wore camo today.
It's just top match.
I would have roasted you so fucking much harder if it was more than because the hat, like yeet yate yote, kind of makes sense. I kind of get it.
I wanted to switch it up because I do have another camo hat, but I wanted the viewers that actually watch this to fucking, they get a little bit of a different, style of hat because it's got
a different side.
It's a
My
trucker
softer
cap
side.
with a little bit of a rope on it for whatever fucking reason because it serves no functional purpose. And then
What if you need to put stuff
The
on
one,
like
the
a,
one I keep on
like a
thinking
baseball
of,
card.
like to back to those pickups and shit.
it's where I keep my smokes.
Hell yeah, brother.
That's one of my favorite things to say since having a kid now is like if I have to leave the house, I'll just very disgruntledly say, I'm going out for a pack of smokes. And then I'll slam the fucking door. Just to really like put that fear god into me.
and then you gotta throw it in reverse and fucking peel out of the driveway.
I'm not even mad when I leave either.
2015 Toyota Tundra with a snorkel and it's that camo green. And the most dirt it's ever been on is one time the fucking golf parking lot got a little bit of dirt.
Yeah, those guys that have like the big lifted trucks, but like chrome rims, and it's clear they take it through.
You mean a pavement princess? Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
That's
But
also
they
some
open the
Jeeps.
fucking door and they've like it's a camo like seat covering, and they get out and they're wearing like camo pants. And you're just a fucking idiot, dude. I hope that there's somebody right now who's listening who's like, oh my God, that's me. And then I want you to understand, stupid. No one thinks it's cool.
Hey, I just want you to tell something, brother. My masculinity may be fragile, but here at Gunfuck Coffee Company, we took the gay out of coffee, brother, so you can feel more comfortable drinking a cold brew.
Oh my God.
I know that we just singled out every single listener of this podcast.
Want to apologize to our entire demographic.
No, I want to.
Fuck off.
I just want you to know that it would not. I would be remiss if I didn't also comment on the fact that you can't fucking read, and I don't know how you're driving right now because when you see a speed limit sign, you probably go, "What that?"
At least we don't get any of those Carolina squatters around here. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Yeah, what are those?
Google Carolina squatting vehicles.
Squatting or
Carolina.
squatting?
Squatting. What is it? Sloth squat.
Carolina squatting trucks.
So they put a big lift in the
Oh
front.
no!
And then they
Fucking why?
They don't do anything to the back.
This is a thing?
Yeah, I don't
Why does anybody do this shit?
know.
We're fucking bootleggers, all right?
No, I think it has to do something with being a product of incest.
Oh my God, dude.
I don't entirely know the reason, but I think
this
it's for
podcast is super off-brand for what I've like.
Yeah, I
built
know.
on my
Hey,
Twitter account.
here at Redneck
I'm
News,
just-
you sure do hate fucking redneck.
I just fucking walked through this door and it's like I got dumber and I'm like, let's go offend somebody, boys.
No, in our very first podcast, I said that I doubt anyone watching or listening to this can read. So I mean, it's pretty
Coal miners, retards. So bad.
Oh, I go underground.
Oh, I got black lung. I'm stupid. Joking.
Jesus.
Obviously, this is
Yeah.
satire.
Yeah, it's obviously a
Logical
satire.
fucking ate shit.
Yeah. If you guys can't take a joke, then hey,
Oh, yeah. Dude, we're fucking joking.
Dude, just say sarcasm after every.
yeah.
After
If
every fucking
you
joke.
guys can't handle this, just fucking hit pause right now. I don't
Dude, you're
care.
gonna get that one guy who was in the fucking Navy that's gonna comment, calls a bunch of pussies again.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah,
Wait,
no.
that happened?
No, we did an episode of Spank Tank, and this dude commented and was like, "These guys aren't fucking rednecks. They suck dicks for likes." And I went to his profile afterwards. He deleted the comment because we had a bunch of viewers like attack him in the
Yeah,
comment.
shitting on him. It's fucking great.
And I went and looked at it, and he was in the Navy, and I had a great comeback. I was like, it's better to suck dick for likes than for fun like you guys do. Like, I
That would
mean,
have been fucking good.
That's pretty good.
but he
I was
fucking
gonna
deleted his
join the
comment.
Navy, by
I was
the way.
pissed.
I was actually.
It's like,
I like if you have to go on to social media to defend your masculinity, like you're doing it wrong, man. Like it's one of those things where if you see it and you're like, I disagree with that, and like if you're not commenting to like educate them or give them a different impression, then what the fuck are you even
Or,
doing? If
if
you're
you
going out
don't-
of it and like, you guys are just fucking pussies, guess what? You're probably the pussy.
No, it's funny.
Like,
It's
that's
funny
what it
because
is.
I went to his profile and he's 100% one of those dudes that we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Like he was one of those dudes that looks like he had a fucking dip in his front lip and just.
I'm a big hard ass.
I'm a fucking hard ass, right? And he's probably
You know what? You should totally suck a man's penis, and if he comes in your mouth, that means he's gay and you're not, because he came in a man's mouth.
Yeah.
Boom.
Dude, that's fucking deep.
Yeah.
So,
I tell
anyways,
my wife all the time, she like comes up to give me
I
a
love
kiss.
that segue. I love that segue.
My wife like will come up and give me a kiss, and occasionally I'll look at her and be like, "Oh, you just kissed a boy. I'm pretty sure that's gay." And she just
got
looks at me and she's
cooties
like,
now.
"Oh my god, you're stupid."
You got cooties now, babe. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
and by cooties, I mean herpes. Sorry.
Oopsie.
No.
Pepsi.
No,
Bepsi.
Pepsi.
Bepsi.
I said that to a waitress the other day. I said I have a Pepsi.
And did she know what you were talking
No,
about?
she looked at me like I was a fucking mental patient.
Dude, it's one of those things where like.
you're sporting a mullet. You walk in,
that's
you
a
sit down,
fucking
and like,
good one,
Can
I
I get
guess.
a Pepsi? And she goes,
Oh, hang on.
Where's your caretaker?
Did you not? Could you not afford the payment this month?
Oh no.
No, so
We got here.
it's one of those.
Hey
It's
man,
one of
this is this is my choice.
yeah.
Same here.
Is it?
Yeah, I love this shit, dude. I could almost put it in a ponytail and like have a black belt and sucking dick now.
A black belt and sucking.
Yeah.
That means the ponytail has to be a black band around, and then you tie it back up here.
No,
so you
if
can
I
tell
had a
people that's what it's
choker,
for.
if I had a choker, it said "Daddy" on it. That's how you know.
God.
Dude, like so. That's one of those things though, like the Pepsi thing. Like being a shit poster.
Beepus.
Yeah,
That's my
if
favorite.
you happen to reference something like that inner culture, like out in public, and someone knows exactly what the fuck you're talking about,
You're like,
They
oh,
can't say
friends.
anything.
instant best friends.
Yeah.
No, they can't
Instant
say
friends.
anything either, because they're like, dude, I can't let them know my power level. You know what I mean? You can't show them.
I'm a tier 5 god shit poster, but I can't come
there
out
was
too
this
strong.
dude.
It's just I am the Shaggy of the shit posting world.
Yeah, like whenever you say like hello to somebody and they're like, what?
Yeah, and I went to a fucking convention once, and the guy was dressed up as the warden from Super Jail, and he just called everybody a bunch of fucking normies, and I was just like, dude, holy shit! I was like, dude, that's fucking hilarious. And he like looked at me like I just punched his mom because he's like, holy shit, somebody knows what I'm talking about. And he's like, who am I dressed as? The warden from Super Jail. I was like, how do you know that? I was like, because I watch Adult Swim. Fuck.
Because I'm not a fucking.
Because
I-
I'm an adult and I enjoy swimming.
Because I'm not a sexually active adult. That's how I know what Adult Swim is.
That's all it takes, huh?
So, Quint, what's your take on Jeffrey Epstein?
Jeffrey Epstein? I don't know. He's fucking dead. I about bought a shirt that said "Rip Jeffrey Epstein," and it had a picture of him like with those like early '90s 3-6 Mafia logo stuff. I really think we should link the shirt in the description.
There's an
It's a Suicide Boys.
there's a marketing opportunity in there to like do a crossover between Jeffrey Epstein and a weekend at Bernie's and just sell a fuck ton of merch.
No, it should be well, I remember there was a picture when Joe Biden like disappeared during the whole COVID deal and everybody thought he fucking died and everybody No,
you're
it
talking
was
about
Kim
Kim
Jong-un.
Jong-un?
Yeah. Weekend at Kim's.
I didn't follow that story.
he
any
did,
farther
he did
than-
that so he could figure out he was trying to betray him and he fucking killed him.
Did he really?
Yeah, he went full beast mode, dude.
That's fucking
Yeah,
wild.
he straight up faked
I
his
never-
own death and reported it to news outlets and shit, and then
I
fucking
never
whacked me.
I never followed that shit up.
He puts a napkin over the phone, like, yes, Kim Jong-un is dead. Is this Kim? No. He hangs up the phone.
Totally not me.
He called up Carol Baskin and got him over, fucking whacked him.
Dude, I love that. I like that meme, but I also wonder what that lady like genuinely thinks of it, because I've seen all these memes. Like some people say you're cruising for a bruising, but I say you're asking for a Baskin. Like, how does she fucking feel about her brand now that this is happening?
You know what's fucking?
Because I know that she's fucking furious at Netflix, and she's like basically stopped talking to the public. But
But they found out she forged his signature on the will.
They reopened the investigation.
That's why she's pissed.
They reopened the
that's
investigation into her. Like, well, so here's my thing. When I started watching that series, I saw Carol Baskin, and I immediately fucking hated her. Like, no one on that show is
She looks like a
worth
Karen, and I think that's why you hate her.
that, and she reminds me a little bit of my wife. No, I'm just kidding.
Literally the opposite.
my God,
No, No, like I fucking hated
She
her.
just looked like she was full of shit.
Yeah, that and like I started thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I fucking hate this, but of course everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, fucking Carol Baskin. And then I got on Facebook like 2 days later when everyone had seen it, and everyone fucking hated it. And I was like, yes, I love the internet.
Yeah, but dude, like Joe Exotic,
I
kind of a piece of shit too.
Oh, they're all pieces of shit on that show, but I do not
I think it's like who's the least.
Yeah, because like this bitch is like petty as fuck. Of course, I mean Joe fucking deserves it, but petty, and she takes these animals from people, it puts them in smaller cages, and then makes people work for her for free for a good cause. And is doing the exact same thing that everyone else is doing.
Joe is giving these people some. It's not a great place to live, but at least he's giving them something.
Where I came into that series, Maddie, my wife, had started watching it, and then I came in literally at the moment where Carol Baskin was talking about her, the volunteers, and my very first impression of her was saying something along the lines of like, I've discovered that like if you phrase it a certain way, you can get people to do something for nothing, or something along those lines. I just remember being like, why are we watching this? This just seems like a parade of shitty people.
Oh, 100%.
I think that's why.
It's like that's captivating TV, though.
I guess I don't know. I'm not into like I like the tea, as the kids say these days.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hip with the youth.
Like
you know what I'm saying? Like to sip the tea. But like pure drama for the sake of drama. Like I never understood the Kardashians. I never understood like
Rich bimbos get in situations. The show.
Shit like that, or like the Big Brother house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it was interesting the first time it happened because you're like, oh, this is like new and novel. But now you're like, it's like Jersey Shore. You're like, this is just a bunch of assholes that people are like, hey, keep being assholes. That's funny.
It's trash. It's a trash TV. But
there is like
no, like.
Ted Kaczynski warned us about this.
So we're gonna start quoting serial killers?
No, I mean I'm just probably on a watch list. Just telling you now.
I mean, you have threatened anthrax, and
I'm just saying if they received it.
Oh my God.
I didn't say I sent it. Don't put fucking words in my mouth.
You brought it back up. Now we have.
I was gonna say you're not gonna be able to cut
good
that
afternoon,
out.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, feds and journalists. Suck my cock.
Oh my God.
We're all losing our jobs. It's fine.
Okay.
I feel even Cody's just like, ugh, Jamie, come back.
Yeah, Jamie, hey, let's talk about the shit we actually wanted to talk about.
Jamie the second. Yeah, the podcast is actually going to start now. Hi, I'm Austin.
And I'm Cody.
My God.
Ted.
And this is the Redneck Review.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm Bed Tundy.
So actually, you know what's funny is I saw Monica. I saw so on my
I
Facebook.
want that to be my fucking username on something.
Bed Tundy.
Yeah,
Bed Tundy 69. Or how many people?
69, 420.
No. How many people did he kill? That's what would be the number at the end.
No.
Well, so like on Facebook, it suggests to me like people to follow like public figures and shit like that.
Bunny.
One of them's Monica Lewinsky. And what's funny about that is like I've only ever seen like news articles or stuff like that where everyone's like, oh, Monica just wants to be out of the limelight, and she
really
hates
does.
that she hates that it's like taking over her life. This bitch has like millions of followers on Facebook.
You know, I got a question.
And she's verified on Facebook. It's like, so you want to be out of the public spotlight, but you're also cashing in.
She actually, I listened to a pretty long. Somebody had her on a podcast, and I listened to it. It was a relatively long conversation, but she talked about it's one of those things where she's effectively just trying to make the most of a bad situation.
Right.
Because she had said that like she was absolutely torn to shreds, as if she was like the only one that did any wrong. And that's the thing that she's known for now. But like what's shitty about that is like everybody in their life has, probably winds up in situations they should not have been in.
And some regrets.
But that's something that she just... It was publicized so much that she literally just can't escape it. Yeah. And it feels shitty. Like, just fucking let it go.
And Bill Clinton just, confessed, I don't know, within, 2 months ago. It was like, yeah, we had sex.
Yeah, but, that's the thing.
He just straight up came out and said it.
That's the thing, though, is...
We know, Bill.
Yeah, it's like, we know this, Bill.
Bill is the one that's, primarily at fault. Because if you... I don't want to get into the whole, power dynamics and stuff like that. But he's the president of the fucking United States. If you were a girl and you're the president's like, you want to fuck? And you're like... The strongest man on the planet.
Yes.
Well, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I sure fucking do.
Because I'm going to be taken care of.
Because, she's 23 years old? Can you imagine the street creds you'd get?
Yeah. All right, so anyways, on to one of the posts that I made today.
Oh my god, dude.
About the top 5 video games that influenced you as a youngin'.
This is something that I know a lot about, so let's do this.
Can we not, like, I'm not going to go any sort of, like, chronological order, like, of what I think's the worst.
Cancel
or, like,
what?
Canonical.
Yeah, just like...
What the fuck is that?
Basic canon
like,
is like...
top 10, number 1 being the best, 10 being the worst.
I don't think canonical is the correct word, because canon is like... whatever.
Okay, I know what you mean. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. I fucked
you
up
talking
words.
about
I'm just saying I'm going to
chronological?
talk about 5 of them. Number 1's not my favorite, okay?
He's not going to actually order them. He's just going to give you the top 5,
okay.
like shotgun spread it.
Okay.
These are the top 5 that hit the bullseye.
Really? The first game I could think of is the Fire Emblem series.
The what?
I fucking love Fire Emblem.
Fire
Fire
Emblem.
Emblem? Oh,
It
yeah,
was-
that was
I was.
weird.
I
That was
played.
weird.
I played a lot of games on the Game Boy Advance. That was where I played a lot of games because I was with my father driving a truck.
Mm-hmm.
Really into the Fire Emblem series. The first one in Sacred Stones. Very into those 2 games. The next one was the Golden Sun.
Yeah, I played the fuck out of I played Golden Sun. I played Fire Emblem a lot. We got in. We talked a little bit about Final Fantasy Tactics before you got here.
Oh really? I
that is
didn't play any
great
Final
fucking
Fantasy.
game.
I played Final Fantasy 9 and then went
I played
back to
7.
7 and 8. I like Final Fantasy 9 the best, probably because it was my first. I like Tactics the best, and then 9.
There's a scene in the game where the guy laughs like a fucking moron.
I mean, in Final Fantasy 9, he's got a fucking monkey tail. He's one of the worst protagonists I could ever think.
Yeah,
of.
just
he's
he
so
goes,
fucking
"Ha,
obnoxious.
ha, ha."
Yeah. He kicks back and he's like hella over.
So how
overacting.
so with Final Fantasy? So I only ever played Tactics and seen Tactics, which is
Right.
it's a kind of like a board-based, turn-based
Final
game.
Fantasy basically just.
Are they
brought
free play?
RPG.
Are they free play? Like not really worlds, but I mean, like do you choose a character and then you go into battle?
Well, no,
and, like,
you
just-
choose one character and you choose his class, and then you build the rest of your
I
team.
personally kind of feel like they define JRPGs.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, what
What is JRPG?
Japanese role playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Effectively, what they come down to is like you start as like it always starts out as like it's kind of like the Legend of Zelda, maybe where they're leading a relatively normal life, but like in Final Fantasy VII, he was an ex-soldier. He was already kind of politically involved and everything going on. But then they're like something like a main villain or a corporation or something comes and like
Fucks a bunch of shit up.
yeah, we're gonna fuck everything up, and then like Final Fantasy VII is the perfect example, and most people will be familiar with it. Is Cloud? Cloud Strife is the main protagonist. He's an ex-soldier that worked for this company. This company has figured out a way to basically harvest the life of the planet to turn it into energy.
Yeah.
But a whole bunch of people realize hey, you're physically killing the planet. This would be like you
Sorry.
like popping a needle into my arm and draining blood out of me to like fuel some shit. Stop it. And then one of their so Cloud's a super soldier, and there's a whole super soldier program. They basically have this top secret super soldier program where Sephiroth is created. Sephiroth figures out like, hey, all this technology and shit we have didn't come from me. It came from like this extraterrestrial comet, and fuck what you guys are doing. Fuck this. Like this planet needs to die, and I will remake humanity like
In the way it should be.
in the way it should be somewhere else. So he decides that he's going to go find what's left of this comet, this Genova cells, and he's going to use that to transform himself, become the new Genova, destroy the planet, and then go elsewhere and reestablish a different Earth. And so Cloud, then you have this Sephiroth breaks away from the company, tries to destroy the world. The company just wants to keep making money, doing what they're doing, and then Cloud's like, well, fuck, I need to stop all of this.
Yeah.
So then, like, through this introductory where that plot's being set up, and most JRPGs are like this, you start meeting other main characters, and typically you get 6 to 8. Your party size is normally 4, and it's turn-based combat. So by time you're through the prologue or like the first 25% of the story, you mostly have the 8 characters that you can use, and then it's about playing through the rest of the story
And leveling up.
and picking which party members you're going to use. And that's like every Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, and then then they brought a bunch of different like battle systems into the later ones and shit. Where
It
it was
changed
like
a
live
lot.
action and shit.
Starting at what, 10?
I think so, something
Yeah.
like that. And they're up to like what, 15 now?
Yeah, most of them are non-sequential. So like
Fucking
Final
flying.
Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8 have zero to do with each other. They might reuse some themes, like you can summon deities or something like that.
But the basics of all the games have pretty much stuck around for the most part.
Like
There's 4 party characters that's turn-based.
to save the world. That's what you're after.
And then, besides... actually, Final Fantasy wasn't even one of the top influential games for me. Another one was Dragon's Quest because I was a
I
bit.
don't think I ever played it.
Well, and the only reason I played it is because I got Dragon's Quest 7 for my PS2, and then before then I had a friend who had an NES who had the third Dragon's Quest.
Did you see the animated Dragon Quest movie on Netflix?
I have not seen
It's
it yet.
actually super fucking fire.
Well, and I didn't know if you knew this. You know who designed the art for Dragon's Quest since the beginning? Akira Toriyama.
No shit.
Yeah, and so the creator of Dragon Ball Z.
That's fucking wild.
And so that's why.
That makes sense though, because when I saw Dragon Quest, I thought that it was just a knockoff of Dragon Ball Z.
No, it's Akira
okay.
Toriyama's pet project. And so then it's Dragon's Quest, and then the fourth one was actually second Resident Evil game, Nemesis.
Okay.
I was very into that game when I was young. I had a
Dragon
friend-
Quest Nemesis or just Resident Evil?
Just Resident Evil.
Nemesis? Okay.
It was Resident Evil.
I thought they
Nemesis.
just did like a spin-off, sort of
No,
like this
yeah.
nice blue slime that's
Yeah.
being like murdered by zombies.
Yeah, it didn't.
Oh my god!
Because that game scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid. Now I walk back at it and it's kind of fucking hilarious because it's not really scary at all. And then the last game that really influenced me when I was a kid was wow, Cody.
I got that at the same time too, actually.
Another game that influenced me a whole bunch when I was a kid was the oh my god, there's a game called Harvest for MS-DOS.
Harvest Moon?
Harvest.
It's just called Harvest.
It was this really fucking weird ass game, dude. You
It
gotta
sounds
watch
weird.
playthroughs.
You said MS-DOS, and I don't even know what the fuck. Is that just like a shitty computer?
No, it's an operating system before Windows,
Sure.
and it's so I don't know if you know like how the live action recording works for like Mortal Kombat and shit, like early Mortal Kombat, like
Yeah,
that
sure.
kind of
Is that
shit.
like them
Imagine
recording it,
that. Imagine that, but with a story that is just horrendously fucked up. It's so fucking archaic and fucking
Yikes.
gross.
Yeah.
Dude, watch a playthrough of it. It's fucking wild.
I'll check it out. I've never heard of that
It's
before.
it's so just creepy. It's so creepy. Like I can't really give away any of it.
Sure.
But
Well, we'll save it. Go watch it. I'm gonna go home and watch it.
just like Google like a fucking screenshot of Harvest MS-DOS.
Okay, while you Google that too, like, so that was your top 5: is Dragon Quest, Fire Emblem, Harvest, Resident Evil. Was that included in the 5, or is that just kind of a segue off of Dragon Quest?
Yeah, no, it was just that was.
Well, recap your top 5.
It was Fire Emblem, Dragon's Quest, Resident Evil 2, Nemesis, and Pokemon games. And then
Yep,
it was
all the-
Harvest.
yep.
Harvest just put game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the
That's that third one right there is Harvest.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So what's your top 5?
My top 5, I answered this on the actual post, and again, probably not in any particular order. I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan. I've stayed with that franchise since I was a kid, but the games that got me into it that I remember the most were The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Time, and
Ocarina of Time.
No, Oracle of Seasons.
There's Oracle of Time for
and
Game Boy
Oracle
Advance.
and Oracle of Time.
Game
Yeah,
Boy
okay.
Color.
for Game Boy
excuse me.
Color.
Gotcha.
And I played. That was one of the first times where I really dedicated myself to the game, because if you played a save file, you needed 2 Game Boys to do it. But if you played a save file on Game Boy or on Oracle of Seasons, and then when you started an Oracle of Time, you could do that like
The link. Yeah.
link, and then it would register like, okay, you've played that, so you'd get extra stuff and time. But you could do that for each save file, so you had to play through each game 3 times back and forth to get to like the ultimate whatever. And then like
Jesus Christ.
the reward for doing it when you were on your 6th playthrough, essentially, I think you just started with the mirror shield, which like deflected any enemy attack that was shot at you.
Jesus
so like
Christ.
you started out fucking stacked. That was technically like the end game weapon, but you just started with it at the beginning of the game.
And just fucking went through.
Yeah.
Just
Plus
destroyed everyone.
there were 3 individual like companions you could get. There was this moosh, this big blue fucking bear that had tiny wings. You could fly. Looked ridiculous. Ricky, this kangaroo that wore boxing gloves, and there was like a Triceratops. I don't remember that one's name. So I played a whole bunch of that. That got me into the series. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was also up there.
I was gonna say that was the first one I ever played.
Yeah,
Was
and
that a GameCube?
that game's phenomenal. I remember a lot of people would be like, "This isn't Legend of Zelda. Look how cartoony it is." But like, as far as an immersive experience, I think that game probably goes like above and beyond for most of my experiences. I never owned Ocarina of Time as a kid, so I never sat down and played it all the way through. I got tidbits from my friends, but my first.
Everybody says that's the best one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Everybody
that's my
argues that,
favorite.
but-
It's my favorite.
Like my top two are probably Breath of the Wild, then Wind Waker in that order.
I really like Twilight Princess.
I have not played all the way through the darker versions.
I like the dark
Of the games, because like I have not played all the way through Majora's Mask. I have played through Oracle of Time. Wait, Ocarina of Time. I played through that now twice, but I still don't know that it like rivals the nostalgia factor of
Right.
Of whenever you
and
first
the worst
played
part,
through
we can't look back upon that
yeah.
for judging because our judgment is
So
skewed.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's skewed.
So like not that it's not a bad game. It's an excellent game, especially for when it was made. But it's not. It's just I don't have the nostalgia weighing in my decision making either. And then Final Fantasy Tactics, which we talked about, and I don't remember what the other ones I fucking listed were.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Fire Emblem was in there. Perfect Dark was in there.
Which
Super
Fire
Smash
Emblem was your
Brothers.
favorite?
So the first one for the GameCube, it featured Ike as the main character.
I know exactly
Yeah.
which one. That's the one I haven't played.
That was my introduction
Do you
to
know
the
how much a
series.
fucking copy of that is?
$60, $80.
Oh, like 120.
Really?
You can sell NCAA football between 2008 and 2014 for upwards of $200.
I don't know
plus.
why the fuck they
'Cause
haven't made any more.
Well, because it was the same fucking game
You know what
over
they should
and
come
over
back
and
out
over
That
with?
hasn't
again.
stopped them from adding.
Do you remember NFL Street?
Oh yeah,
They
that was
should
a
bring
great.
that
Dude,
fucking
they
game
should bring back
dude.
NFL Blitz.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
used
like
to
after
play
the
this
play
sh-
just fucking breaks somebody. in
Yeah,
half.
it
Dude,
just like
I get so fucking tired of saying they're like EA Sports is releasing the new Madden. I was like, I just want to clothesline some dude with a football, man. Just,
they just need to let Rockstar get into it, make it rated M. Just call them, everybody's calling each other a fucking pussy and shit. They're beating the piss out of somebody. It's just like, boom, I just aborted your wife, like, or something like that. That's like one of the touchdown celebrations. They go in the stand and there's like a pregnant lady that just flips out.
holy shit.
God damn it.
Get like Naughty Dog on it since they're already an abortion. Yeah, that game fucking sucks, by the way. Last of Us 2, what a fucking pile of garbage.
Jesus Christ, yeah. So my 5 top were RuneScape. It's not really a video game. It's a
That's a video game.
That's a video
Yeah.
game.
It's an MMO.
Oh, I didn't
MMO,
even
it's not a
mention
video game.
StarCraft. StarCraft is what.
oh
like,
yeah,
all
that was
gaming.
some shit too. Hell yeah.
StarCraft 1 on my mom's fucking Windows XP.
StarCraft
computer.
2, like that was the first online game I ever played.
StarCraft 1 was the one we played.
Was it? Oh,
StarCraft
okay.
2 is out now. Blizzard has a thing where like Blizzard Ready is like maybe you'll see it in the next decade.
I remember my
So,
favorite.
like,
I remember
they had StarCraft 1 and they're like, we're working on StarCraft 2, and then it came out in like 2016. Some shit like that.
I remember there was like, for Overwatch, like a part of Diva's lore was that she was like the #1 StarCraft player in Korea. That's because nobody plays the fucking game over there anymore. Hey, here at Redneck News, we're fucking dorks. We know way too much about video games.
Well, what was funny about that too is that you mentioned that I was always told like when I played StarCraft 1, if you got into
Zerg.
Well, no, if you got into a match with somebody that, like, you could see that they were from South Korea,
Yeah.
you just conceded. Like,
Oh, yeah, no, they'd fuck you, dude.
They were that fucking
yeah,
good.
they were that. It was like
Oh,
the
yeah.
fucking Olympics.
Well-
I got into so many matches, and I was, like, scrolling through the list of opponents, and I was like, that looks like the South
Korean.
Korean, that looks like Korean language. Concede.
Well, yeah, and
like
that's where the whole
you're conceding as the Zerglings are rushing into your bench.
Yeah,
You're
because
like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, because those like I remember playing that. It was my first time being online,
Yeah.
and just like I remember it was a common thing because it was dial-up internet back then, or DSL just come out, but it was like fucking really slow stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like so the whole server would lag, and people were like, "Who's downloading porn?" Blah
Yeah,
blah blah
oh
blah blah.
my God.
And then they'd be throwing up like XD and stuff, and I didn't know what that was. I was like maybe 10, 12.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What's XD?" And then they all just like spam XD.
XD.
And I'm like, "What? I don't understand what it means." That I finally figured out it was like a sideways face laughing.
Did you ever do that shit like? Because I grew up
We're
like.
getting to like old head shit,
No
fucking
shit, dude.
internet
I
shit.
well, yeah, but that's going to be your fucking demographic
Yeah,
anyway.
people that listen to this are already
Because
idiots.
I was growing up as the internet was like being cultivated, and
LimeWire.
Early 4chan shit.
yeah, no shit. Do you guys remember going into chat rooms and like the very first thing you go into any chat room, the very first thing you type was ASL?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it-
Oh yeah,
like-
who wants to see my dick?
yeah, no, that was all it fucking was. It's like you walk in, you're like ASL, want a cyber? Like, everybody's fucking doing that. Like I was like this horny little fucking 11, 12-year-old. No idea what I was doing. I was just like, I want to see boobs.
Yeah.
ASL, anyone? Like, it was just a bunch of dudes, like a bunch of grown fucking men all looking for the same thing.
And you join a chat room, it's just like all kinds of like weird text just flying across the screen.
Oh my god, yeah. It's where people are like, the early emojis are happening because people are basically painting pictures with parentheticals.
Yeah, exactly.
I just remember always shit posting on the automotive board on 4chan in like 2009 to like 14. Dude, I had
That's not the advent of the internet, man. That's the 4chan's been around for a while.
I mean, I got on it like 2006 and 7, not 4chan, but like then I got my own computer finally in 2009, and I knew about 4chan.
And you downloaded all the porn you could find on the wire.
I couldn't because
you're just looking.
You download one song on a LimeWire, and all of a sudden the FBI is knocking down your door for piracy. You probably accidentally downloaded child porn. And
There's a back file.
Your computer's fucking fried. And you're like, all I wanted to do was listen to Metallica, and then fucking Metallica's like, do what now?
I'm trying to listen to Metallica middies. Fuck up.
I don't fucking know what's going on, man.
Yeah, you're looking for your first porn ever, and you pop it up, and it's not what the title
Well,
says.
it's like when we
You're
talk-
like, what the fuck?
Well, it's like, remember when I told you when I tried to torrent Mass Effect 2?
Yeah.
I've told this story like 800
I haven't
fucking
heard this.
times. Okay, so I used to torrent video games all the fucking time. By the way, sorry FBI. I used to. I
You
don't
wouldn't
do that
break
anymore.
into
I'm a
someone's
good boy.
house. You wouldn't
my
steal a
God.
car.
Oh, I would download the fuck out of a car.
Piracy is a crime.
I would download the fuck out of a car. Anyway,
3D print this car. Fuck.
so the last game I attempted to pirate was off of Pirate Bay, and it was Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
And I torrented it, and I was seeding it, and I noticed there was a bunch of MP4 files, about 14 gigs of MP4 files, and no other text files or anything. And I went, huh. This is weird. Hardcore gay anal sex. Every single video.
That's
Like 3 dicks and 1 ass.
that's like early stages of shit posting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like,
100%,
oh, what
like-
you thought you were downloading this game? Fuck
Just-
you.
maybe-
Gay porn.
That wasn't fucking CP or anything. Like,
That is where fucking meme culture came from. It's just people being assholes to each other on the internet.
Yeah.
pool's closed.
Fucking,
Oldest one I know.
yeah, that MP4 thing reminds me. I was listening to an episode of the Game Grumps, who are these YouTubers that like they play games, and one of them gets super fucking overheated about the games he's playing.
Yeah, Aaron, because he sucks at video games.
Yeah, because he's like, motherfucking fucking piss Bowser, son of a cock. And
Aaron pisses me off sometimes.
he was talking the other day, and he goes, he brought up that he was watching this guy that was like, I don't know if it was supposed to be a porn or what it was supposed to be, but he's like, I was just watching, and this guy was like going, and he was staying in hotels, and he'd creep down, he'd peek out the hotel door, and he'd see like room service making their way up, and when they were getting close to his room, he'd run, he'd lay on the bed over the covers, and he'd just start viciously masturbating. And then like the room service would open the door and be like, oh my god, I'm sorry, and he'd be like, and like fucking jacket, and it's already weird. And I was like, this came out of nowhere in their conversation. I was like, what
That's
am I-
like sharking.
I was like, what am I listening to? He goes, but this whole thing ends, like this video ends with like this male room service guy that comes in and goes, oh. And then he just sucks the dude's dick. And the other guy's like, buddy, I'm not gonna lie, that just sounds like gay porn. He goes, well, that was not the premise. Like, I didn't know it was gonna end there. And he goes, it sounds like you sought that out. It was just a dude masturbating on a bed.
Yeah, you want to do jack off.
That sounds exactly like gay porn. That had to be staged. He goes, no, sometimes when you're searching, you'd search for the lady porn categories, and then sometimes it comes up. And when I search for those lady porn categories sometimes, like every day, sometimes you wind up in the gay porn section. I was like, what the fuck is happening? They're playing Mario. My daughter, my 4.5-month-old daughter is watching all these bright, colorful things. In the background, some dude's like, sucking a dude's dick, not gay. Can I say it? Holy shit.
That reminds me of what sharking is.
What the fuck is sharking?
Okay, so
He's about to drop some truth bombs.
I'm about to drop some fucking degenerate bombs on you.
Do I want to know?
Yeah,
I'm going to
you
leave this,
don't.
this
So
podcast
sharking.
unclean.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've already fucked that deal up. Sharking is when dudes ejaculate on people in stores.
Oh god.
Why?
So you
Why
mean-
do people do this? Like,
Because men are fucking animals, okay?
but you don't
Yeah.
have to be. Like, that's all
We
I've
are
got to
monkeys
say.
orbiting on a fucking rock through space.
I'm just saying, guys, it's not that fucking hard. Like, if you got a boner, Just go home,
No,
man.
dude, I watched one video.
No, but these
I
are the
swear
people
these-
that, like-
I don't know how these dudes don't get caught because they're just straight up go fucking jack off and jizz on somebody.
It's one of those things.
Why is it called sharking of all things?
I don't know
too?
because like
Are you
put
just
the
like?
Jaws
Are
theme
you,
on
I was
it.
gonna say, are you just like jacking it in an aisle and you see some lady walk by and you start going, "Bana, bana,
She's like,
bana."
And then
There,
like,
that's something that you can
That's a
zoom
clip,
in on
that's a
right
clip.
there.
they start out.
Bana.
They can't. They got to do it to fat chicks because they can't turn around quick enough.
oh, Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God, dude. Come on.
It's this extra surface
It's
area.
not fucking hard for
Quint
them to be
fucks
like,
up this
what?
episode.
Yeah, that's the title of this. Quint's fuck up.
Yeah, Quint's entire fuck up.
Yeah.
Damn, at least I wasn't racist.
There you go. I mean, that's.
Thank you for
Thank
my
you.
first time on your podcast. not coming like me, not sitting down and be like, let me tell you about my impression of the Jews. And be like, okay, boys, I'm out of here.
And that was that's a wrap. Thank
That's
you.
the end of our podcast. Thank you
No, I
very
don't
much.
go there.
It started. It was 10 seconds long, and good night.
And there goes our guest.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
fuck
we
y'all.
got Quinn McLean, local Holocaust denier.
Yeah, and then we got.
That rolled off his tongue awfully
Right,
well.
like everyone leaves, but there's like still 2 viewers. You're like, okay, what?
So they're like, are we doing this? Or?
You know, Bill Cosby was a
You're like,
Holocaust
yeah,
denier.
we got like 10,000 viewers. Whatever Quentin says that everyone logs off. There's still 2 people on. Like, well, what do you gotta say?
You know, I'm just saying. Bill
You guys
Cosby-
can go ahead and unfollow us, please.
Yeah, please
Bill,
do that.
Bill Cosby was definitely a Holocaust denier.
Bill Cosby is also a rapist, so
Yeah, you know,
I don't
what's the
think-
worst part is he's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
what?
That was a Norm Macdonald skit where he talks about, the worst thing about Bill Cosby is a hypocrite.
Yeah, but
So that's what one of my friends
what's
says.
the
I don't think that's the worst thing.
I was like, what's the joke there? Like, what is he being
He's like,
hypocritical about?
sometimes.
Imagine being like such a like prolific character.
Rapist.
Prolific rapist.
Yeah, like such a prolific. I mean, he was like
He was
America's.
a child character.
Well,
yeah.
he was like America's dad or whatever for the black community for such a
I
long
feel like
time.
they pushed him for a really racist reason.
What do you mean?
Because he's just like, look,
We've got.
this black guy can be cool.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's why this black guy acts white like the rest of us.
I don't. I mean,
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Well, maybe it was just early television and like it was,
Yeah.
Like I mean I don't know enough about TV history to know like maybe he
know.
was like a big star or whatever. But in
He was really good at clean comedy. I think that's why he
yeah,
really
actually, I listen to a lot of comedians' podcasts, and they said that like Bill Cosby and Jerry Seinfeld, 100% work clean. Bill Cosby would get like irate if you cussed before him.
Oh, yeah.
And Jerry Seinfeld was not that way. Like he would let like people that were in the same show, if they worked dirty, he didn't care. He'd be like, no, that's fine. You did a great set, and they talked to him all the time, like Bill Burr and stuff like that. I'm like, man, like I just went dirty, and Jerry Seinfeld's going up after me. He's like, no, man, you had a great set or whatever. But Bill Cosby used to get absolutely like enraged.
Real mad.
Yeah, if people were
He's
to
like,
cuss.
God damn it, now I gotta go roofie somebody.
Right. Well,
Calm down.
well, Kevin Hart said that.
I never thought Kevin Hart was funny.
Really?
I always thought he was funny until he got his. I think that's the problem with.
I never liked any of his stand-ups.
I think it's a problem with fame with comedians is because one of the things that makes you a successful comedian is that your jokes appeal to a large amount of people. So
and a
like,
lot of people are stupid.
well, no, it's not. It's not that. It's that like you can tell jokes that people can connect with. They have
Yeah.
some sort of understanding. And Kevin Hart was very, very good at that.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
early comedy was phenomenal. But this last special, specifically in this last couple specials, it's clear that like
There's
he is-
a lot of production value.
well,
to it.
no,
It's more-
he's living a different life now that people can't relate to. Like his last bit was talking about walking down his half-mile dark driveway to drop trash off and running from a raccoon, and you're like, nobody lives in a fucking mansion, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
It's like-
you're,
it's
you're
like-
talking, you're talking to people like you're like, I'm from inner city Philadelphia, like this is where I grew up, et cetera, and now you're talking about living out in the burbs somewhere with
In
your
California.
$1 million home, like. absolutely nobody. I don't feel like anybody can relate to that.
No.
The rich people are like, ha ha ha, I do that.
What are you talking about? Oh, I don't do that, clown. See, that's for the help.
He takes out his own trash. I have to help
And
you.
then,
You know, and it's kind of sad because you think about, when you achieve all this success, you kind of lose what you're doing it for.
Well, but he also,
100%.
but I'll give it to him. He does work his ass off, though. I mean, but
the
he's
guy's got
huge.
hustle for sure.
Well, he does
Yeah.
stadium tours. You know what I mean? Like worldwide stadium
I
tours.
feel
that,
like-
But at the
bands
same
do.
I feel like something similar is happening to Tom Segura right now too, because
I know he will never.
well, no, because Tom Segura, like with this last one, he went on the Joe Rogan podcast and he said it on Your Mom's House podcast a lot too. Was that a bunch of people tried to like cancel him after not his most recent
There's
stand-up, but the one before it.
we're the
And
Louisiana.
so,
yeah.
well, not just that, but he said like
Retard.
well, and midget,
And
and like
yeah.
a bunch of people were out to get him.
a lot of PC
And-
stuff. Yeah.
And so I felt like on this last one, after knowing that context,
Oh, he went after. Hart.
yeah, he just doubled down, and it felt more forced. Like,
Well, he does that on
felt
his
like
podcast, though.
It felt like he was up there though on stage to prove a point. Like, you can't fucking cancel me. This is what comedy is for. And maybe it's because I understood where I assumed where he was coming from. That I was like, this is kind of getting preachy, dude. Like. When
Well,
he
I
said
mean,
that thing about his mom, he's like, "Well, she's my mom."
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of that, but also on his podcast, like lately, like 2 episodes ago, he pissed off wrestling fans by like he went after him hard,
Yeah.
right? And then it's been 3 episodes now since then, and every episode he's like, I apologize to the whatever, and he just keeps the bit going, just dumping on them. I got done listening to an episode where like he tried to apologize like 8 times, and then just kept dumping on them super hard. And they're like, no, that's not an apology though. Yeah, he's like, well, yeah, they're fucking idiots. So yeah, like he leans into that shit because he fucking enjoys it.
What's so interesting is I remember when Kevin Hart started coming up and like I basically got to watch his rise to success. I remember thinking like, this is going to be one of the comedians that everybody talks about.
He will be remembered forever.
This is our
Dude,
generation's
when you
Eddie Murphy
fart-
or whoever. And then Tom Segura comes out, and I remember thinking like, maybe this is going to be another one because like Tom's my age, dude. He's like, I think
he's in his 40s. He just turned 40.
No, I thought he just turned like 32. He
No,
said
he
that he
just
was.
turned-
I'm pretty sure he said on his podcast he was born in like 88 or 87.
No,
and I remember thinking like, holy shit, what am I doing with my life?
his birthday was like 3 weeks ago. He
Well,
turned 40.
I think the thing about it though is when they get that fucking big now, like I feel like they lose a lot of what they start out with. Because like, I'm not trying to sound like a fucking boomer, but when you go back to like a lot of the older comedians, like Richard Pryor, he never backed off the shit he did.
Or the really old white guy who turned out like, I don't know, George Carlin.
Yeah, George Carlin.
Yeah, he never. That dude has like 15 specials.
Well, but the thing is like I don't think they necessarily come off of that, but I think that you reach the apex as your success, and then you see that kind of plummet because you lose focus, and then they come back up, and then they have a really successful end career. I feel like you see that with
Well, it's like
just
Ron
celebrities.
White.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll push back real hard on Tom Segura because I don't think that's it. Because I mean, I've listened to his podcast.
I don't know
I
that
don't
that's
even know
where
who he
he's
is.
going. I'm just saying like this last stand up felt more tense than all the ones before because it felt like it was kind of passively just a big middle finger out there to everybody.
Well,
that's mad at him.
it's great watching him because I've gone back recently because like they'll keep their specials on there
His
for
old
forever,
stuff
and then
is so fucking good.
yeah,
man.
I've gone back and I've watched all of his old stuff into his new stuff, and you can tell like back then. Like now he's just a lot more comfortable and he's got enough success and people know who he is as a person now, like his hardcore fan base, that he just leans into that stuff. And so I don't think he's really worried too much about growing his audience more to get a bigger
about
audience.
cultivating it.
It's about cultivating his audience and then bringing in the right people. So
That's fair because like he still had me laughing a lot, but this was the first Tom Segura special or even like skit that I'd ever listened to where like I found myself sometimes like not even really smiling. I was just kind of like, all right, like let's just kind of get through the bit.
Yeah.
Like same with Kevin
That's
Hart's.
kind of same with me with Gabriel Iglesias.
Gabriel Iglesias took such a dive.
I haven't liked him since his like first special came out. I think
his first special
Fluffy.
came out and then he went like
Kids
leaned.
humor and shit.
He's
Not
still
just
huge,
that,
though.
but he like leaned really hard into like not necessarily just wholesome, but like almost all of his stand up.
I'm Mexican fat guy.
Well, almost all of it too,
Yeah.
though. Like he stopped telling stories. Like what made him so funny was like he was an obese man, but he was extremely confident, and he talked about all these like ripping around, getting himself into trouble,
Yeah.
like cracking jokes, pulling pranks, And then it just kind of became like that bit humor, like, you guys know what I mean? You guys know what I mean? And like,
Well, he did one special that came out 2013 or 14, and it was literally just him up there like telling a sob story almost, or it was very
dude.
preachy. And I was like, "Is this a stand-up special?" Like I had to check.
a lot of his
that was
stuff
a
got like
special.
that because he like, I really want to thank you guys, and like, it
Yeah,
means
he's
a lot
like-
to me. And you're like, this is great, dude, but like, he lets those things go on for like 10 to 20 minutes as opposed to just like 2 to 3. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, I'm really thankful. This has been great. Thank you guys for coming. I sincerely mean it. I'm out.
I personally really liked, not really necessarily as a comedian, but more as a car man, as Jay Leno.
Yeah, no, he's great.
I honestly think Jay Leno kind of doing comedy so he could fucking finance cars.
No, it's 100% what he did.
Yeah.
He was doing that
don't
comedy
know
bit so
anything about
he could feed his. Well, I mean, he had.
Doesn't he have a huge car collection?
He's got like I don't know 9 warehouses that
Oh,
are
dude,
full
of like these fucking dude. I don't even
He
know.
took
how many
all-
cars are.
Can I ask what is the allure in collecting cars? I
What's
work-
the
you're
allure?
fine.
What's the allure in collecting magic cards?
I mean, magic cards, you can like,
It's a hobby.
I mean, yeah, but you can like, you can use them and you can use them in a greater capacity. Whereas like, you have so many cars, like,
Well,
I
Preservation of
worked
history.
for a gentleman that had a whole bunch of them, but his entire purpose was like, I got the very last Pacer Corvette. It's only got 50 miles. I'm gonna keep it that way.
Yeah.
So like, okay, now you've just got a chassis.
Well, no,
why did you spend
it's-
money for
it's-
everything else?
It's preservation of history.
that and some people I feel
Yes.
like it's more like
Well,
look
Jay
at my.
Leno drives his fucking
I was
car.
gonna say I think
Sure.
there's a
And
difference.
This gentleman does too, but at the same time, I wondered how many cars becomes too much? Because like, let's say that you get to the point where you've got a car,
See,
one
that's
car
the
for every
thing,
day of
though.
the month. Like, when does it stop?
See, that's the thing though. Is like, if he's someone like me, it never does stop.
Yeah.
It's an
like
addiction, man.
Jay Leno, like I mean, he works on every single one. He knows all the history.
Is he
No,
a
no,
legit
vehicle.
mechanic? I thought that was just
Oh yeah,
where he
dude. No,
dumps his
he
money.
seriously helps him out and everything. Like,
Yeah, like he has a
helped-
team.
He helped design. He has a Stanley steamer. I don't know if you knew this. Stanley steamer, the fucking carpet cleaner guys.
Sure.
They used to make steam cars.
No shit.
Yeah. No,
I didn't know that.
and they died. Steam cars died in the 30s.
Yeah.
The thing about steam cars, don't make a lot of horsepower, make a fucking shit ton of torque.
Did I?
Yeah, like
go
we're
fast.
talking like the last Stanley steamer they had made like 200 horse but 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. We got diesel engines not even doing that yet. You're like in pickups now.
Did you see the world record was just broken for the fastest
Steam
0
car.
to 60?
Oh really?
No,
Yeah.
it was a Honda, and it did it.
Oh, what a
it,
shock.
It did it in 1.1 seconds.
Yeah.
Jesus
I
Christ.
saw the fucking video because the guy's like revving his engine, that light turns green. He goes,
Yeah.
and I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's really neat about the Stanley steamers is like he designed the whole new boiler system for it, because how steam cars work is
So is he an engineer too, just like a mechanical engineer
What? No.
to some degree?
he's just an enthusiast.
I mean,
No,
if
he's
he
a-
designed an engine,
well,
He
no,
didn't
he's an
design an
enthusiast.
engine. He designed a boiler. Really, all a boiler is copper tubes that's ran inside a boiler.
Yeah, I mean, well, but he's so immersed in everything.
I'm
He's got
mechanically illiterate.
he's
No, you're
got
fine.
he's got motorcycles. He's got old vehicles. He's got new ones. I mean, but for him, he really just loves cars. He'll take you out driving in them, and then
I
he's
didn't
got
even
his
know
own
Jay.
series.
To be honest, I didn't even know Jay Leno was still alive.
Well,
Much more
he's-
respect
he's
for the guy
pretty young.
now.
He's got an entire.
He's got like 60
isn't
something.
He's got a
Yeah, I was
show
gonna say, he's
over.
crazy.
It's called Jay Leno's Garage.
I love the. I've
He's
watched
got
the shit out of
thousands of vehicles, and he takes them out. Every episode, he'll take out like 2 or 3. And he'll tell you all the history behind it. He'll drive it. He knows all the inner workings of it. So he's just a really big car enthusiast.
Yeah, you know, a Lamborghini Giraldo. I pretty know how to pronounce the name fucking properly.
Geraldo?
Yeah, like the one from the 80s. Like you think of the 80s car, and it's this fucking Lamborghini, right?
Okay.
He bought one brand new in '86. He drove it. It has 150,000 fucking miles on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Like
he's-
he drives the piss out of a lot of his cars.
yeah, he said that like because he was on Joe
Because
Rogan.
that's if I were to buy cars, that's probably what I do. Like you buy them for function, but also as you said, like preservation, etc.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, it's the
I don't see
preservation.
I don't see the point in buying a car and then throwing a dust mask over it and putting it in the garage. And be like, yeah, I own this car.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Well, a lot
Why,
of that turns into it's a
Investment.
it's a status quo.
Yeah.
Because that's what cars have always been. Cars have been the same thing as suits or jewelry. It's
Just
accessory.
status.
But that's also the good thing about cars, because
It's like
it shows-
camo. Camo on your vehicle.
Yeah, it also shows. It
Just
also
another tribe.
shows something great about like cars in itself is also a representation of the human idea and the human artistic expression. Because like you can see how styles change with cars. or cars change with styles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, what's the actual term for that? It's just like it's a read on the zeitgeist, like the spirit of the.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Effectively, it's just a beat on that because I mean, you can go back, you can see it, like not to get too deep, but you can kind of just see it in everything. It's not just cars, but cars are one of the most obvious things because you fucking see them everywhere. So like right now, everybody's concerned with convenience and streamlining. People care far less about what's on the outside and far more about what's on the inside.
Yeah.
Like you get in a car and you're just like, yeah, like sleek looking body, looks shiny.
But you
what's
get
on the
on
inside?
Well,
that's
it's not
our
even
tech.
that. You know what's the number one reason why people buy cars? How well can they get in and out of it?
Yeah.
They don't care about reliability.
Yeah.
They don't care about fuel economy. They just want to know if they can get their fat fucking ass out of it. I fucking hate that so much. It's like a car.
Just have a built-in trash can from like McDonald's wrappers.
That's why crossovers fucking purge the road. Is because fucking 20-something-year-olds say, "Oh, I have back problems" because they don't ever stretch. And now these ugly ass fucking crossovers are on the road.
Madman with the mullet, if you guys are just listening.
Does this seat raise up, turn out to the outside, and then raise?
That's fucking hilarious. I fucking caught that. Sorry, I was in my emotions there for a minute. I was fucking pissed.
Turned pure red. He's like, these fat fucking 20-year-old geriatric fucks.
Yeah. Oh! They all look the same. All crossovers look the same. They're these ugly. And you know what's the weird thing is everybody used to talk shit on minivans.
Yeah.
Minivans are now counterculture. So now they're punk rock.
I still fucking hate minivans.
I fucking love minivans.
You mean
Dude, no, shaggin' wagons. That's what you need, dude. The
no,
old one that we used to have.
need to go. This is the only time you'll ever hear me sound like a fucking boomer. We need to go back to the 80s conversion vans.
Well, okay, somebody explain this. Like, I've never felt that
Do
it
you
was.
have a car question?
I've never felt that it was. I don't understand like this generational rivalry because you guys know that like everybody right now is like you fucking boomers. The generation that comes after us, the Zoomers now, are going to be like, you fucking millennials, and then we're going to be the new boomers. Why the fuck are we teaching the younger generation to do that now? Because we're going to get old, and then we're going to have a bunch of Zoomers that are like, why don't you all just fucking die already? And you're like, because I like living.
Because
that's why.
Because boomers are insufferable and they don't know what the internet is.
God, dude.
Well, I think it's more of like I think the reason why a lot of people are pissed off of boomers is because they keep on voting in shit that just benefits them and nothing that benefits future generations.
Well, every generation's gonna feel that out the oldest generation.
Yeah, but I mean, really this time,
It's really up to like. I think this has changed. When the boomers die off, the millennials just say like, okay, we can all agree congressional term limits, and then everybody can just go back to living their fucking life. Like that's really all you need. And weed and pot.
Well, it's because
and the marijuana, the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, the left-handed cigarettes.
It's because
the left-handed cigarettes.
That's what my fucking dad always says.
I've never heard that.
I really hope it's not like a euphemism for gay people.
Well, no. So the left-handed thing, I remember that like was
because they're French and they're queers.
No, there was an old wives' tale where if you were left-handed, that you like had some contact with the devil like
Jesus
before birth
Christ.
or some shit.
Yeah, and that's why 5% of the U.S. had them.
So that's why
they're the devil.
That's why. That's probably why it's. My God, dude. That's probably why it's considered the left-handed cigarette, the devil's lettuce, like the devil.
Oh, because the devil and they smoke weed, and if I smoke weed, I go to hell. And that's where also
all the parties are.
This is the 20s, and that's where brown people go.
Okay, with that, guys,
Love you.
we've done our time here on the show. Austin, thank you very much for coming.
Nice,
guys,
boys.
Check out his Twitch channel. It is the Almighty Thorgi.
I promise it's not this fucking off the rails, batshit insane.
Or racist.
Yeah, Quint.
I'm not racist. I'm just quoting the 20s.
Quint's
It's been
having
fun, but holy shit.
Quint's been having a bad day, and we covered a lot of
Yeah,
topics.
when Quinn has a bad day. He's just like grandpa. He starts talking about the 20s and how they hated people.
So just know, guys, that all this is in good fun. If we made you angry, I'm sorry. Tune in next week. Maybe it'll be better or not.
Except for you camo fucks.
Except for What? Yeah. Except for the the people.
Wait, what is that?
The people of North Carolina squats. You guys cannot watch this again. And
Well,
go
they have to
fuck
look.
yourself.
They have to lean their seat all the way up so they can see it.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's
Fucking
talking
take
about.
your windshield up to 90% and then
They
die at night.
fucking the chassis like this, and they've got a lift in the seat so the seat leans
Yeah.
forward so they can see over the
Do you
dashboard.
think I'm joking? They actually do that.
I'm
They
not
do what?
surprised.
They
The lifted
fucking
seat?
do the seat.
Holy shit! You gotta be kidding
Like they
me.
get it so fucking extreme. Like it's almost like
That's insane.
yeah, it's stupid.
Is this like the auto mechanic?
Well, they're the
like
types of
version of
people
looking
that,
down your
like-
nose, like, poor people, disgusting. Pugh.
Oh, you mean people with Samsung phones? Like because
I think it's
when
more-
people hate against Apple, I'm just like, bro, you don't have to like announce to
girlfriend
everyone
loves
that
the
you're
fucking
poor as
Galaxy,
fuck.
dude.
Like
My
because
girlfriend loves
like
it.
on
What's-
Facebook all the time, people are like, people that love Apple suck. And I'm like, bro, you didn't have to announce to everyone that you're
What's
poor
so
like
weird
that.
about it is people insist on making it a tribal thing too. Like, oh, I would never be caught dead owning an Apple. And you're like,
I always like the
cool.
memes.
I'll enjoy my Apple phone.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I can't believe you. And I'm like,
I was like,
Oh,
this-
you
I was
just-
like, why don't you just go sweat over something else then?
I was
Jesus
like the one
Christ,
where
dude.
my buddy says like, I just got a picture of me taken with an Android phone, and it's like a screenshot from San Andreas or something.
Yeah.
Like
Before we lose, boys, I went on a rant about this yesterday, and I just want to
we
bring
gotta
it up.
get the fuck out of here.
No, I want to give exposure to this issue because it bothers the fuck out of me.
Okay.
But is it just become like an internet meme to misspell the word losing with a second O?
People that can't
Losing.
spell.
Like
I have-
everybody just spells it losing. Normally I see it in comments, but I saw it in an actual like a Tom and Jerry meme, and I was like, why? Like
Because everyone-
people are proud of the stupid.
No, I feel like
Just look it up.
I think it's like an acronym, kind of like texting culture.
No,
It's not.
No.
It's just people don't. They're like,
they don't
well,
have proper grammar. and-
double O's sound like ooh, and losing sounds like ooh, so that must be how you spell it.
Well, no, because they're relying people have become so reliant on autocorrect
Yeah.
that like they type
They're
it
being
out
stupid.
and it doesn't check your grammar; it just checks the spelling. So like people like the more you rely on technology like Google. Like now that everyone has access to Google, there's no reason to try and learn anything
Oh,
because
dude, I don't know
it's
how
like,
to do fucking long multiplication.
well, no, it's one of those things where it's like, why would
no.
why would I retain this when I could literally just Google it?
Well, it's like
Because before,
you
like,
don't have
because
that-
when we were growing up, it was like, hey, does anyone know whatever? It's like you got to go look it up in a book, and then you had to learn it, and then you would recall it. But now you don't have to do any of that. You're just like, I don't know, Google it.
Yeah, but
know?
you should still retain. Like, if you have the curiosity to look it up, that means in that moment you want to know it. So just fucking save it
well,
in your
it's
brain.
not like it's the fucking Pythagorean theorem or anything. Too. It's literally.
Is that the only mathematical term you could remember? So
Hey,
you're like,
there's
I'm
a-
about to lay some knowledge on
No,
this.
here's a throwback to one of our Spank Tank episodes.
well, no, it's honestly the only one I can think of.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
I'm shitty at algebra. It's okay. It's
geometry,
When
it's
the
fine.
fuck have I ever had to use that in real life?
God.
I'm not a construction worker. I drive a truck.
I was just saying, contraction. I had to use math every day.
Well, yeah, because you
the
gotta fucking measure shit. I get that.
Well,
I get that.
Why would you learn your measurements? You've got
I
a
gotta
tape
measure shit too.
Yeah.
My truck tanks 9 gallons of oil. I get that. Okay, I can measure that. I can understand that. I know there's some
yeah.
amount
Well,
of
I mean, I don't
take
know.
out.
It's just the general dumbing of society as we get smarter.
Oh yeah,
But- what
I have
bothers me is-
I have teacher friends that fuck that shit up. I'm like, you are a teacher, and I
Hey,
see.
let's get the fuck out of here. We tried to leave once.
Okay.
I'll keep this shit going all night. I'm
Yeah.
going to continue this into my stream tonight. 8 o'clock,
Hey,
thealmightythorgi.com.
check out his Twitch stream. It's
Yeah.
not set in the 20s.
I promise. No,
Yeah.
no racial shit.
Yeah, the Almighty Thorgi on Twitch. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet already, go to our website, www.rednecknewsentertainment.com. Please go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Just type in Redneck News Entertainment on YouTube.
Quinn's got an enormous hog.
Yeah, we've got 20,000
Fat
followers
hog.
on Facebook,
hog.
and
Look
we
at the
have
size of this hog.
20
You
subscribers.
fucked
on
up my
YouTube.
hog.
Jesus Christ. All right, guys, that's it for us. We'll
Cody's
catch you
other
later.
news.
Okay,
bye.
Yeah, we'll catch you later.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.